What's up guys, it's Toby here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and in this video we will talk about Joaquin Correa, the Lazio striker who is on the radar of Liverpool, and we are thinking about signing him from Lazio. He is having a great season and he is definitely good enough for Liverpool. The big question is, can Liverpool afford him in this uncertain financial crisis? And also there is big news coming out from Germany that the Bundesliga will restart in 9 or 10 days, which is awesome news in my opinion. We will have some football to watch, and also the Premier League can look at the Bundesliga. So in this video we will take a detailed look at what the Bundesliga are planning to do with the resumption of the season, and also what Joaquin Correa could bring to Liverpool. So the reports are coming from Italy. Rome-based newspaper Il Messaggero are claiming that Liverpool are looking at Joaquin Correa if we can't afford to sign Timo Werner, and Correa could be available for a lower figure. Even though his release clause is £70 million, I don't think Lazio will stick to that price, because Correa has around 10 goals on average per season. He used to play for Sevilla, maybe you are familiar with him. This is not the Angel Correa that is playing for Atletico Madrid. Don't mistake the two players for each other. He is from Argentina, so he's not Spanish. He's from Argentina. He started off his career at Estudiantes, then he went to Sampdoria, then Sevilla, and now he's playing for Lazio. And Lazio are challenging for the Serie A title. They are just a few points behind Juventus. They have a realistic chance of winning the first Serie A title in a long time, and Correa has been instrumental in Lazio's season. He has 8 goals in 27 games. So let me know guys, do you think Correa would be a good transfer for Liverpool? And if you guys enjoy these transfer news videos, please leave a like. Let's get this video to 200 likes with your help, and subscribe, turn on the bell notifications so you never miss the latest Liverpool and football news on this channel. The thinking behind this report is that Liverpool might not be able to afford the 52 million release clause of Timo Werner, and we are looking at cheaper alternatives. Correa could be available for maybe 30 to 40 million pounds. A move for Correa would make sense because he isn't too dissimilar to Roberto Firmino in terms of playing style. He is primarily operating as a second striker, and as I said, he already scored 8 goals in 27 Serie A appearances this season. The only stumbling block is if Lazio really wants to honor his release clause. If they really expect Liverpool to pay close to 70 million, then I think this deal is dead in the water. And not only does he have 8 goals, but he also has 4 assists for Lazio in the Serie A. So he doesn't have like incredibly amazing, insane numbers, but I still think that Correa could be a good addition for Liverpool. As I said, as a backup striker for Roberto Firmino, this could make sense. He's only 25 years old, so he has still a good 5-6 years in him. And he can play in a wide variety of positions. He can play as a second striker, that's his preferred position, that's where he played for Lazio. But he can play as an attacking midfielder, as a number 10 if you like. So I think that this would be a good move for Liverpool if Correa is available for around 30 to 40 million pounds. I don't think we should pay anywhere near the amount that Timo Werner's release clause. If Liverpool can afford a 52 million pound transfer, then I think Timo Werner is the go-to guy. He should be the first choice. But I'm just saying that Liverpool are looking at alternatives if that deal falls through, and if we can't sign Timo Werner, then Correa could be a good alternative. And he can also play as a left winger, as a centre forward, and also a deep lying forward, a false 9, just like Roberto Firmino. His main strengths are his ball control, his dribbling ability. He has very good pace, very fast, and also he has good agility. And in interviews previously, he cited a Brazilian former attacking midfielder Kaká as an inspiration. So he modeled his game on Kaká's game when he was growing up. The Bundesliga appears to be edging closer to a return to professional football. On Wednesday, German Chancellor Angela Merkel will speak with the prime ministers of Germany's 16 states about a potential loosening of restrictions implemented during this health crisis. And also the smaller shops are already open in Germany. They are loosening the restrictions, and the larger shops, supermarkets will be open maybe in a week or two. A decision on the Bundesliga and on the Bundesliga 2 is expected on Wednesday, but on Tuesday there were good news, because according to Reuters and other publications, negotiations have gone well between the clubs and the government, and the Bundesliga is set to make a comeback. A return would make the Bundesliga the first league in Europe to play since football was suspended all over Europe. And it looks like the Bundesliga will resume, will continue with match day 26, and the highlight of the match day is the Borussia Dortmund Schalke Ruhr derby, which is one of the biggest derbies in Germany. And I think that the biggest stumbling block is what kind of fallout will be after 3 Cologne players got tested positive from the virus, and they also got of course into self-isolation. They got separated from their teammates, and also an absolutely big scandal happened. I think it was yesterday. Salomon Kalou, one of the senior players at Hertha Berlin, actually started live streaming while he was going to training. So what happened is he actually started live streaming on Facebook, and there is a big debate whether this was intentional or whether the player was just dumb and careless. If you watch the live stream on Reddit, you can make up your own mind. I still can't decide whether this was intentional or not, because the fact is Salomon Kalou's contract is up at the end of the summer, so people were speculating whether Kalou really doesn't want to play anymore for Hertha Berlin, and also he wanted maybe to expose Hertha Berlin just as a dig towards his club because of reduced salaries. But what actually happened is that Salomon Kalou goes into training, he meets with other players, and instead of normal protocol during this health crisis, he's shaking everybody's hands, and even the doctor who is taking another player's samples for testing for the virus, the doctor wasn't wearing enough equipment, and also there were more than 1 people in the room. So many Hertha players and even Hertha officials weren't adhering to the social distancing protocols implemented and mandatory from the government, and this got a huge backlash from the German media and the German public. Hertha Berlin was ridiculed in the media. And then in response to this, Hertha gave a very strong statement. I actually read that yesterday, saying that they condemn the actions of everybody in the video, especially Salomon Kalou, and they suspend Salomon Kalou from training and playing games for an undecided period. And Salomon Kalou was the player responsible for streaming it to the whole world through his Facebook page, and it was just such a silly, careless thing to do. But also it raised concerns how seriously the football players and football clubs take this issue, and it looks like Hertha Berlin can make a joke out of themselves even while the Bundesliga is suspended. They are like the meme club of the Bundesliga. I heard many Bundesliga fans say that, and this case just proved that they need to take it a lot more seriously. This is the problem. Like, it's all well and good making all kinds of like mandatory rules and restrictions. What if all players not follow the rules and regulations? What if 1 or 2 players just go out and about and get the virus, and then they play the game and infect others? So there is a huge can of worms being opened by this video, and I'm not sure what the fallout will be. So there is still a little bit of doubt whether Bundesliga will go ahead because of this video and this whole absolute mess of a situation, which was resulted by Salomon Kalou live streaming, going to training and shaking everybody's hands who was there, like 5 or 6 players and the coaching staff. And what I don't understand is why didn't the team doctor really strictly tell Kalou that you can't do this, you shouldn't do this? He was just saying to Kalou, please delete that video. He wasn't aware, and the players who Kalou was shaking hands with wasn't aware that he was live streaming, and that's a really like bad thing to do. But also Kalu, maybe his excuse was that he was just happy that his test for the virus came back negative, and that's why he was shaking everybody's hands. But it's just such a dumb, stupid thing to do, and this just furthers the stereotype that not all footballers are the brightest minds in the world. Some clubs, especially the clubs who are in and around the relegation zone, suggested that the Premier League shouldn't have relegation because when it resumes, because of the health issues surrounding this restart, and that really rubs me the wrong way. And also the TV companies, Sky Sports, BT Sport and others, beIN Sports, are strongly against this idea, because most games will be dead rubbers if there is no relegation on the line. And this is what Jamie Carragher wrote in a Sky Sports column. The thing that disappoints me is that a couple of weeks ago I wrote a newspaper article about the bottom 6 clubs being vocal about reasons the Premier League shouldn't go on and continue, and they were legitimate reasons. I think everyone in the Premier League had them in terms of fan safety, player safety, testing, taking testing capacity away from the NHS. What really got me off the back of the last meeting was that it has since emerged that clubs weren't opposed to neutral venues, because as soon as relegation was taken off the table, it was fine to play at neutral grounds. Those clubs around the bottom lost a bit of their argument when that came out. For so long they have been very loud speaking about reasons, and that's what we want. The teams at the top find it very difficult to talk about the season going on because it looks insensitive, whereas it's completely different for teams at the bottom. But a lot of that, when they said it was okay to play at neutral venues as long as relegation was scrapped, I just thought it really ruined their argument. I think they lost a little bit of sympathy, the teams at the bottom, who have been arguing about different legitimate reasons why they shouldn't play. But as soon as relegation was taken off the table, they were fine with it. That doesn't really sit well. And this is the problem. Every club is looking after themselves first and foremost. Every club has their own agenda, and many clubs are pulling in many different directions in terms of which scenario suits them the most. And this is why I think there should be decisions coming straight from the top and not the other way around. The clubs shouldn't decide first and foremost how to complete and how to resume the Premier League season. The Premier League and the government close together, consulting and drawing up different plans. They are the people who should decide how to continue the Premier League season. But the problem is the clubs hold the power, because without the clubs agreeing to all this, there is no Premier League football. And yeah, it's a very, very tricky scenario, and I'm not sure how it can be navigated. I think the Bundesliga will be a very good case study and a very good example on how the Germans can do it safely and effectively. And according to the Times newspapers, when the Premier League returns, all 92 games which are set to be played in the Premier League could be available free to watch on the Sky Sports and BT Sports YouTube channels. The broadcasters are very much against the idea that no teams will be relegated in the Premier League, which is obviously being peddled by those clubs at the bottom in an attempt to get away with their poor seasons, using the outbreak of the virus to their advantage. A source told the newspaper the idea that all games would be available somewhere to watch as they are behind closed doors, and YouTube is the obvious platform to show some games for free. Amazon would have the ability to get some games as they are a live broadcast license holder as well. But both Sky Sports and BT Sports will be very, very unhappy if it is decided that there is no relegation in the Premier League. There are always some great relegation battles at this point in the season, which are brilliant entertainment. For example, Norwich have matches still to play against Watford, West Ham and Brighton. If there's no relegation, then those games are meaningless. And I mean, you started the season knowing that there was relegation and promotion from and to the Premier League. Why change the rules in the last third or the last quarter of the competition, it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think the clubs should decide if there is relegation or not. I think there should be relegation, especially if the games are played, then there definitely should be relegation happening. And even though Tottenham wouldn't gain anything from the season being resumed, Hugo Lloris actually came out and said that the season should be finished and Liverpool should be champions, but I want to give you guys the exact words that he said. So we are quoting Hugo Lloris here. We are in a situation where everyone wants to finish the season and have the verdict on the field. It would be terrible if everything ended like that, 9 games before the end of the Premier League season. It would also be cruel for Liverpool with the lead they have. They are almost champions. As with everyone, there would be a taste of unfinished business. In addition, we are entering the most exciting period, the most beautiful moment of the season. Nobody wants it to end like this. My respect just grew for Hugo Lloris a lot, because Tottenham wouldn't gain a lot from continuing the season. Yes, they have an outside chance to qualify for the Europa League or Champions League, but it's not a very likely scenario. But I think if I was a true sportsman playing for Tottenham, I would want to fight on the pitch for the Champions League places, for the Europa League places, because Tottenham are like not that far behind the other clubs. They are like in 8th or 9th place, but they have enough games to come back and actually mount a top 4 challenge or top 6 challenge. So we knew that FIFA proposed extra substitutions before to help players cope with the greater fixture congestion, but Taylor, who is the head of the PFA, the Professional Football Associations, came out on Tuesday saying that games could be less than 45 minutes each way, which is an absolute ludicrous idea. I mean, the virus can spread in games whether they are like 60 minutes, 90 minutes or 80 minutes or whatever. So I find this pretty ridiculous. We don't know the future, he said on BBC's program. What we do know is what propositions have been put, what ideas have been put, the possibility of having more substitutes, but games possibly not being the full 45 minutes each way. There's talk of neutral stadiums, there's a lot of things being put forward. Just try to see what the proposals are and then have the courtesy to let the managers and players and coaches also assimilate all those and come to a considered view. My point of view is you should only shorten the games if you are running out of time at the end of like July or August and you are still hesitating on continuing the Premier League season, and if you have to play like 3 games every week or 4 games every week, that's when maybe the games should be like 75 or 80 minutes long. But otherwise, if you are just having the normal like 2 games per week schedule, then I think the big games should be 90 minutes. That's how the season is normally, and that's how it should be. But let me know what is your point of view. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your opinion. And Joe Gomez explained how they forged a very good connection with Virgil van Dijk on the pitch and why they are such an effective centre-back partnership. The stature of Virgil van Dijk when he came to the club was obviously already massive. He told a Sky Sports interview, "I was a young centre-back. I hadn't really got as many games there as I would have liked. But as soon as he came in, he reached out with open arms and we formed a bond straight away. Just the fact that he's a down-to-earth person. Off the pitch we get on really well. Off the pitch we have a great relationship. We talk, and at times like this we FaceTime and casually speak about general things in life. That helps on the pitch when you have an understanding and he's your mate at the end of the day. Sometimes he gives me an earful, but it's a massive help and a confidence booster. Just having someone like him besides you. When there's a one-on-one battle, you know he's going to dominate every header. He doesn't really lose headers at all. Just having him alongside me, his presence, that's not just me, the team and even the stadium. When Virgil van Dijk does go down there, there's a bit of a grasp and worry. He's a real dominant force and a pleasure to play alongside." And Gomez continued by saying, "I've had a lot of ups and downs, and they definitely put perspective on things in terms of just being grateful to play the game and always being a student of the game. I've enjoyed the consistency, I've learned a lot about my body. I definitely took a lot from those injury periods. I'm at a club where there's a platform that speaks for itself, and on top of that, a great manager that has helped me learn consistently. Obviously, my dream is to be the best I can be. Virgil is an absolutely incredible influence on me and someone I can look up to. He doesn't have many flaws at all. For me, it's just about learning, developing the things I feel I can improve. My aim is to be up there and try to be the best I can be whenever that takes me, wherever that takes me, hopefully at Liverpool for a long time, and hopefully we can achieve good things. Just a brilliant interview by Joe Gomez in my opinion, and that concludes our video for today. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you later guys. Goodbye.